Right, okay, hopefully it's working. I just need to check it's working. I never trust YouTube. Nobody should ever trust YouTube. Of course it's going to be lagging, isn't it? Hopefully it's going to work. I'm still showing, there we go. Right, I'm live. Yeah, definitely live. You'd think I'd know enough about this now, given that I, what do? I play lots of games and tend to stream them and things like that. Right, so my plan at the moment is, again, I'm just like mucking about with actually streaming while coding and things like that, just for fun more than anything. But what time is it? What time is it? It is nearly 3:15. I want to go out for a run a wee bit later, but the weather's a bit wild at the moment, so rather than go out now, I thought I'd hack on a bit of code. So my plan is to work on OSHit, the Orange site hack and use terminal-based client. I just want to add a configuration dialog. It's one of the things that's actually on. Hang on, get my keyboard back. There we go, and do this. There we go. That makes more sense. Coding while actually showing my editor is a better plan, isn't it? So yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that I kind of want to do to this, but add a configuration dialog for it is definitely one of them. Point being, if the tool does have a config directory and directory file. It does have a directory as well, that's where the file lives. There's a config file with a bunch of things that you can tweak in it and edit in it and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a JSON file that people should or can edit, muck about with and all that kind of stuff. It is mentioned here, where tweaking. Yeah, there's like a vague mention of it there. So I just want to actually add a config dialog, essentially. Just need to check something. I'm getting a warning about my stream. Let me have a look. Let's see what the warning is. Let's have a look. Oh, fancy dashboard. Warning, the stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. Oh, okay, I should probably actually tweak that. This is one of the things that I actually want to do, is also figure out what's going on in terms of the best streaming options and stuff like that when I'm mucking about with this kind of thing. I stream or have streamed from VR quite a bit, going back a ways, and I have a very particular setup in OBS on my Windows machine for streaming from VR, and I should probably crib the settings off that and get the bit rates right and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to ignore that and close that warning, so I don't need to worry about that warning. No, I closed the warning in OBS and it's just telling me it's now all good. Apparently just pretending the problem isn't there is definitely a fix. Right, anyway, I'm here to do some coding. So, oh no, I'm basing it off main and I'm going to call it config. Config is totally a thing. Right, change branch. Right. That's all the fun stuff. Now it's the boring stuff of actually writing code. What should we do? I'm going to make a screen which is going to be the config dialog. So Let's have a look. And if you're watching this, get used to the fact that I'm atrocious at spelling. I'm not even the fastest of typists. I'm very much of the school of, do you know what, when it comes to writing code and solving problems and things like that, the speed of my fingers isn't the impediment. It's the thinking up the right solutions and getting it right first time and things like that. So, what do we want? We want a screen, don't we? So we're going to have a bunch of things from textual. Probably want to make it a modal screen. Haven't thought about who's going to be responsible for reading and writing. I think I'll do it in the screen itself. I mean, what I'm doing with this as well is not going to be the most correct code. This is a bit of a hack, this application, so I'll say it doesn't return anything. Getting kind of wild out there again. I was out earlier, drove to the supermarket, did my weekly shop, and holy hell did the most vicious line of rain and wind come through. It was actually, I saw it on the radar, it was really quite narrow, but damn, the car was getting blown about. No, actually no kidding, as I was driving along I was keeping an eye out for any kind of funnel cloud, because it actually felt like it could get ever so vaguely tornadic. So I was kind of waiting for that. So, right, screen and things. So basically we want to be adding some numbery type things and some checkboxy type things, right? So definitely going to want that. Oh, we're going to want a label as well, aren't we? Probably going to want a button as well. Try and do these in alphabetical order, although I do have ISOT and all that kind of stuff, so that will sort it out anyway. Right. What am I doing? I want to compose some stuff, don't we? It's going to be a modal screen, so I want I'm going to lay some stuff out vertically. The vertical, given that this is modal screen, is actually going to be the dialogue itself, is the plan. That's the idea. So actually get rid of that. Do ye doc strings, always do ye doc strings. It would also help if I did this. I actually want to import that, so with a vertical, let's might tidy these up, might actually do something a little bit fancier at some point. I just want to get the basics laid out. I'm also going to want a horizontal. I know I'm skipping ahead of myself here. I'm going to want a horizontal for the buttons. Let's just start off with something. I'm not going to put dark mode in there because I think I've got dark mode. Pretty sure I've got a toggle for dark mode. Anyway, yeah, I do. That saves it anyway. There's no point in me making that setting, so we can ignore that one. Compact mode is also one where there's an actual setting for it. Compact is F2, so that just changes like a compact and relaxed sort of layout for things. So dark mode, don't you do item numbers? Was that a thing? I think that's a thing to actually, I don't think there's a setting. Oh yeah, numbers against items and age of items. So yeah, this is going to be more for the network connection stuff, the maximum concurrency, the connection timeout. Also the thing that I did for background loading of tabs as well. Yeah, okay. There's no point in doing anything with those toggles, so we shall put let's just do that like that for the moment. I want to get the rough layout, get the dialogue showing, and then words, and then we'll flesh it out and stuff like that. That's the idea. Okay. So we have a little area for the buttons. Kind of OK and cancel, or cancel OK. Just trying to think. Let me just check something. It's going to be off screen for a moment because I just want to check a thing. Yeah, I think they save and then they cancel. But we'll call it OK and cancel. And actually, I never decide if OK or OK is better. There's a difference. There's totally a difference. Right, that is the basic layout. So in the main screen, need to pick a key for config. We'll go for F11 for the moment. And I'm probably going to show it in the footer, so we'll go with that. Import it, then we want an action. What am I doing? Ooh, why have we got... Ooh. Oh, I might need to update textual for this, because that, I think those warnings about await complete and the like have actually gone away. Let's check that for a second. No. Wish I could type. No. Hang on, what version are we up to? Does anyone know what version of textual is out? I don't know. I know nothing about textual. Are we on 0.53? Actually, we're on 53.1. Yes, okay. I think I just need to update my dependencies for the Mo. Well, you know, forever. Right. Better. Let's see if that makes a difference. Yes, it did. Okay. I was fairly sure that had actually been solved, that problem. So, while I'm here, I'm just going to move my phone. I think it's actually making a buzzing noise with my speakers. What am I doing? I'm going to say we want 53.1. Let's encourage always using the latest versions. Ish. Right, we're good. Go back to what we were doing now. And I was trying to figure out where to add this action. Do it here. Okay. So far, so good. I mean, it looks like trash. It's not the most modally of configure modally dialogues, right? But we got stuff on the screen, so let's get some default CSS going. This is where it potentially gets interesting as well, because in textual there still isn't a great solution to an easy dialogue layout. There is a PR kicking around for an actual dialogue widget. I mean, widget, it's actually a little bit more than that. But unfortunately, to really make it work, it needed it needed a couple of tweaks or a couple of changes to the way that CSS works. I can't remember what the outstanding issue was. I'd have to go back and look at the PR. But I made it work. But there's a couple of slight hacks under the hood to actually make it all work. And there was one or two cases where a compromise would have to be made if you're using it. For most uses, for most use cases, you'd throw some widgets at it and it would just work. It absolutely would. Just a couple of cases where it wouldn't have been great. But the PR sat there not because it isn't useful or anything like that. It's just to do it properly. It highlighted, as I say, a shortcoming in textual CSS that needed updating, and it's just that update hasn't been made yet. So I don't know if and when that'll ever go in. Hopefully it makes it in at some point. If not, I don't know, maybe I'll spin it out into a third-party library where it'll be useful for most cases. Right, so anyway, let's use our... I really must set things up so I've actually got context-aware indentation and stuff like that when I'm editing default CSS. It's like one of those things that I've never really felt the need to do. I just realised I made a mistake here. I want that to be inside there. Is what I want. Right, so we're going to say for vertical it's in there. We'll do I'm just doing random stuff at the moment. I'll tidy it up afterwards. I actually want it to be there. Right, that's a bit more like it. It looks like trash. Of course it looks like trash. But I've just sort of got the height going. So the next thing to do is we want to say it's like 50-50 whether I get these the right way around even after all this time, and also 50-50 as to, yeah. Oh no, it's not even that, it's a line. I actually got the one thing wrong that I was sure about. Okay, that's a little bit more like it, so we're kind of in the centre now. Next up. One of the things that's going on here as well, of course, is I am closing it down, starting it up. You can not do that if you're using external CSS files, and what's the word? And dev tools and things. I'm not a big fan of external CSS files when it comes to writing textual apps. I really like seeing my CSS there in my code. So it does slow me down a little bit when I'm sort of prototyping things, but I don't know. It feels like I prefer the flow. So we want I don't know what colour I want the border. Might crib this from where the hell's the border? Why didn't I get a border? Because I put the border on the wrong thing. Because I'm an idiot. And then the border be there. That's more like it. It's not the colour I want or anything like that. Let me just steal from tin board. What did I use? Don't want an error border. That's ridiculous. I probably looked in the wrong thing there. Bookmark input's probably a better one. Panel actually I like, don't I? It's not far off. Borrow a bit more code. Actually, I'm just going to borrow all that. Yeah, it's starting to look a little bit more. Right, put the buttons over. Oh, what did I do wrong? Semicolon. Got carried away. Oh. Now. Okay, buttons over that way. And then what we'll do is we'll say there's a button in there. Oh, for goodness sake. I do make my life harder by editing the CSS strings. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Yay! Okay, it's a little bit more like it. I think we need a bit of padding. I think we need a bit of padding. I always get these the wrong way around. Got it the wrong way around. Okay. Slowly getting there. Slowly getting there. Need to move that label in. One. Obviously put some space above here as well, that kind of thing. What was I going to do? I was going to move the label in, wasn't I? So I want margin left of 1. Do it. Slowly, slowly. Oh! 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 That's an actual error that's got nothing to do with anything else I just wrote. Non-type object is not scriptable. I just got upset. Huh. Let's just let that run through for a moment. Don't know what happened there. Come back to that. I'll come back to that. You saw nothing. Nothing happened. You saw nothing. Right, should probably put some IDs on these things now, shouldn't we? So, what did I say I was going to do? Maximum concurrency connection timeout. Put colons at the end, it feels alright. How am I doing for time? Looking okay. And maximum okay. Oh, a bit too carried away there. So we got top, new, best, ask, show, and jobs. I suppose I could iterate over these, like have a list of things. Might tidy that up actually. Let's just, worse is better. worse is better. And if you know that reference, we can be friends. Ask, show, and jobs. Just not that jobs. Right, let's throw the checkbox in for good measure. I can spell yield. I can totally spell yield, just not on Fridays. Right, let's see how appalling that looks. Not bad, actually. Interestingly, I was actually going to put a rule or something above these buttons just to have them separated from the rest of this. But it's kind of not that necessary. I'm just wondering as well whether I should maybe do something that's a bit more of a grid layout. It's just these maximums, they're only going to be like 3 characters long. So all that space is sort of wasted, isn't it? And, you know, we start doing this kind of thing and it's not great. It's not great. That's so not great. Ooh, that's Kitty. That's not a textual thing. That's Kitty being weird. Right. Well, let's get the bulk of this going and then I can tinker with the layout. I can absolutely tinker with the layout. I think that's the main. Maximum concurrency, connection timeout, top, new, best, ask, show, jobs and background, and then an OK to cancel. Looks good to me. Oh. Oh. Nice. Right, so we want to load up our stuff. Can actually do it. Where did I store the config? I stored it in there, didn't I? Stored it in there. So we'll say is it 2 up or 1 up? Can't remember. Yeah, that's it. I think I can actually populate here. Something like that, actually. Yeah, that does the job right. Simple, to the point. Help if I could type at all, ever. What's this one? Timeout. should really be using multiple cursors for this bit, but I so seldom use multiple cursors for non-contiguous lines of changes. I also have to remind myself actually how it works for that, and it takes me longer to look it up than it does to just type the damn thing out. And right, there we go. Don't know why I keep looking at it, expecting it to do something. I gotta pull up the config dialog. Right, I've got some values loaded up. Okay, I want to remember what the value comes second. Anyone would think I didn't write the bloody checkbox, right? What's it called? What's this called? What's this called? Background load tabs. There we go. Yay! We got a green X. We got a green X. So that means it's working. So far, so good. So on a little bit of decorator magic. Really, Dave? Really, though? I just well done, brain. So I just hooked up the cancel button. Ooh, yeah, we got. That's nothing to do with what I'm doing. That's actually a genuine hack and use API error. The hack and use API is trash. Yeah, I just hooked up the cancel button and then hit escape, didn't I? Dull. Oh, it's not working anyway. All right. Well, that's not great. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Do you know what I didn't do? Is actually implement the body of the function. Let's try that again. I know what I'm doing. I've written textual code before. Hey, look, that works. Right. Not in a fine brew. Not in a fine brew. That's the problem. Right, we have a dialogue that's sort of laid out, squished in, is modally, is going to need a bit of tweaking in terms of its layout and size and reactivity to the size of the screen and all that kind of stuff, but this is just getting the basics going. Is it? I don't know why I keep looking at my watch, because I've got my machine set on Do Not Disturb, which puts my watch and my iPad and where's my phone? I put it down there, didn't I? Puts my phone and all that kind of stuff in Do Not Disturb mode, because yay Apple ecosystem. I keep looking at my watch and it's completely blank because I'm in Do Not Disturb mode. Right, I should probably say some stuff now, right? When we give it okay. Actually, what I am going to do is let's set up some bindings, and that can also I'm actually going to do that. Press escape. Yay! Okay, that's a win. Right. I'm going to stick with my usual convention as well of I kind of like F2 for save, and then what I tend to do is this kind of thing. Again, it's one of those things where it'd be nice if textual did do this. I'm going to do that. No, why am I doing that? Don't need those. Why am I doing that? It's just that, right? Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking there, why I needed to escape it. Yes, there we go. Oh, I know why. I know why I thought I needed to escape it, because I want to do this. I knew, like, I had to escape something. That was it. Nope. I have a footer on here. Would they show in the footer underneath? I think they do show in the footer underneath, but they're dimmed, so it's not obvious. And if I showed a footer on this screen, it would be on the footer. And I find it a bit jarring that you've got this nice modal dialogue where it's all squished in a bit and you can see through and everything, and then you end up with this bright footer at the bottom. Not a big fan of that, so I tend not to do that with modal dialogues. Okay, right, next thing, what was I doing? Actually saving some stuff, right? So what we do is make sure we actually maybe I should I was going to load the configuration again. I won't get too deeply into the configuration thing in this, but basically I don't technically hold the configuration for the application in the application itself. I just have a load and a save. So if you want to get the configuration anywhere in the application, you just call load a configuration. But I've got a LIU cache on it, so it's basically, yeah, you know, cached. So once it's loaded in once, it's loaded in once. And saving, if you actually save the configuration, it clears the cache. So you got this nice thing of, like, if you've loaded it in once and you haven't saved it, it's just basically pull it from the cache kind of thing. Screw it, let's just do that. Can always come back and tidy up later. So there's going to be a whole bunch of validation and things like that will get added. In this first instance, I'm just doing the very basics and everything. I will then add some validation and things like that. I did it again, look at my watch, even though it's sort of turned off. So I want to do maximum consensus query 1. Oops. I kind of have this having done a few dialogues like this kind of thing now, I do have this sort of medium-term idea, plan, whatever, to do a bit like the dialogue thing I was on about earlier, but something that's simple, straightforward, generic, where you can just say, I want these values, and there are these types, and they should be validated this way, and just very easily, quickly put together a dialogue, and then pull, load data, save data, that kind of thing. That would be a nice thing to do. It's all about time. It's all about having time. Right, connection timeout. Maximum top. Top new. Again. Didn't work. Top new best ask show jobs. New best ask show jobs. And let's not forget our nice little checkbox, which is background load tabs. This one should be straightforward. What did I call it? I didn't call it anything. Actually, at the moment, I don't need to, because there is only one checkbox. Let's live dangerously. And then it's going to be... should work. That should work. So let's say maximum concurrency is 49. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I didn't close the dialogue. I was like, why isn't it gone away? There we go. It says 49 though. That's good, right? So I'm like, that's 6. 499. 488. 199. 198. 197. And 196. And then turn that off and say, okay. I'll actually come all the way out, go back in again, pull at the dialogue. 488. Did I type? I thought I typed 498, but I must have typed 488. That's looking good. Did I change that? Did I change that though? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. Cool. Right. I want to config. Mute the config. There we go. Back to our default values. Nice. Maybe I should actually add a default button as well. That might be an idea. But roughly, that's the right kind of thing. But of course, I can do that as well, which ain't great. But let's Okay, that's looking good. Okay, that's the basic configuration up and running. Do I want to do a little bit more? Do I want to do a little bit more? I think I might put some basic validation on. This is where I'm going to have to remind myself. I can never remember everything. Just going to look at the reference for a moment. I want to look at the guide for input. Of course, what I should do is just go on the Discord and ask, right? Rather than check the docs. You know who you are. Let's have a look. Validation. Hang on, I'm looking in the wrong place. I want widgets. Input. Oh my god, I can hear it absolutely chucking it down outside. Really not looking forward to going for a run. Validating input. Forgotten how you actually say, oh, input types. Yes, I should do an input type, shouldn't I? That's the thing, input types. Oh, it's just the type parameter, isn't it? That's right. That's right. It's all coming back to me now. So we just want to say type equals integer. These are all integers as well, aren't they? Fine now. Yeah, I'm still typing ridiculously large numbers, but I can still type in ridiculously large numbers, but at least I can only type in integers now. Although I'm going to have to set bounds on these things like that, aren't I? Right, dialing it in. Do restriction as well. Given there's probably no point in actually doing a restrict and a type as well as the trying to remind myself. There we go, validators. So I want to say, probably going to have to start breaking these down a bit. Validators is, I want to be a number. I need to, where does that come from? Textual validation, that's right. Who doesn't like some textual validation? It helps if I actually tell it to import it. Minimum of 1, maximum of like 50. Oh, I got the error again. I have to look into that. I think that's a completely unrelated. It's completely unrelated Hacker News API thing that I probably need to deal with. Connection timeout. I actually can't remember what would be sensible values for that. But I know what I'm going to do for the rest of them. Which I think I'm going to say the maximum for that is 5. So when I very first did this, it looked like, so in top, for example, you get the Hacker News, the Hacker News API. When you get the top jobs, it's top stories. It's like 500, and I think jobs is 200 and things like that. And the way I'd written the code was like, again, because of the Hacker News API is just like terrible. You can't say, give me all the stories. You have to kind of grab them all one at a time, which is really, guys. Really. So I changed things a little bit so it does them it does them concurrently, and I just wrote the first version and it was like, just grab everything all at once, and I'll come back and fix that because that's going to be a bit too much. It's going to be a bit ridiculous, and I forgot about it. I forgot that I'd done it like that. So the very first version of this that I put out, it when you ran it up, it was like 500 concurrent HTTP connections. Well, it's one connection, but yeah, requests as it were. Just 500 of them, just blasting out kind of thing, which was great. And for most people, it seemed to work, and it was kind of fast. But there was this one chap. Oh, I can't remember his name. He was actually really really nice and really helpful in terms of letting me know about this. But he was on a sort of like slightly lower, slower connection somewhere over in the Irish Republic, and yeah, it just wasn't working for him at all. And we soon figured out, the problem was I had quite a small timeout on the connection, and also I was trying to get 500 connections at once. And me with my like my Mac Mini hardwired into my router and on a fiber connection, I got a nice fast fiber connection here and everything. Wasn't a problem. It really wasn't a problem. But for anyone trying to run this, maybe on the end of a copper connection that isn't quite so fast, it wasn't a great experience. So yeah, I had to make some changes to reduce the number of concurrent connections. We found around 50, I think, work for him and everything, and also a way of increasing the timeout. So that's why there's these options here. But yeah, that was kind of fun. And it wasn't that I hadn't even thought about it. It was just more a case of I had thought about it. I was going to get around to doing it, and me with my nice fancy fast connection didn't think about it and released this first version, and that was it. So anyway, long story short, minimum 1, maximum of 500 for that. Let's do some more validators. How long have I been going? Just over an hour. I should probably think about stopping soon and going out and having that run. it sounds like it's stopped raining and blowing quite so much. Connection timeout. I'm going to do it like that for the moment. It's in seconds. It doesn't. 500 seconds is silly. Let's say a timeout of a minimum of a second and maximum of a minute. Right, maximum top. That can be that. New. Okay, from best onwards, it's like 200 anyway. Oops, that's messy. I think black's going to sort it out for me anyway. Right, there we go. So, I should find cool. Right, okay, so it's doing the validation thing. I can't remember if Textual's validation system has a way of... Does it send a message when stuff's valid or not? I can't remember. Because the thing is I don't want someone hitting the OK button if there's stuff that isn't valid. I only want them to do the cancel button. Fairly sure I've done that somewhere else. I came up with a way of doing things. But I can't remember where. Can't remember where. It's just done that. Okay. I think that'll do the job. I think that will do the job. I just realised as well, just in case. Just going to check something. I will be back. Mute that. There we go. Yeah, that's looking okay. Yes, there we go. Right. Yeah, I was just checking the stream was still going through okay, because as I say, this is still a bit experimental and stuff like that. Definitely need to look into the thing of the bitrate and the like. The thing I did notice, because I actually did do a test stream last Sunday, I think, yes, last Sunday evening, and I didn't advertise it anywhere or anything like that. I didn't mention it anywhere. I just wanted to actually test it out, as I've kind of said already. I got streaming set up on my Windows machine, which is kind of down there next to my TV. It's exclusively a gaming machine. Exclusively, well, not fully exclusively, so not exclusively, almost exclusively for VR, because I do like me some VR. And yeah, I've got it set up for recording and also streaming, and I've streamed from VR a fair bit, not in the last year actually. Been a bit busy with having to travel into Edinburgh and all that kind of stuff. But with the help of someone else knew online a couple of years back or whatever, I really dialed in the settings for OBS when it came to streaming and streaming to YouTube. And with this, I just basically set it up, let it do what it felt was the sensible default settings, and then went for it. So, as I say, I probably need to tinker with OBS and fiddle with bit rates and all that kind of stuff and everything, maybe to just get a nice consistent bit rate. Because the thing I know where I was going with that was I noticed, having done this test stream, it was like 40 minutes of me just tinkering with revamping, refreshing some bit of code. I noticed that on the whole, the actual definition of the text on the screen and all that kind of stuff and everything was fine, but there was definitely a couple of moments where it looked kind of fuzzy. So this one is as much a test of that as well. I want to see if for a longer stream it behaves and it's good resolution, good definition. Maybe it isn't, but we'll see. But yeah, it keeps moaning at me that what's the exact wording? Look at the dashboard. The stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. It doesn't actually tell me what the recommended bit rate is, which is not helpful. Oh, it does if you actually make the window wider. Well done, Dave. So what have I got? 2,732, and it thinks it should be what? 2,732 kbps, and it wants 13,500 kbps. Might need to tinker with that, or maybe that was. Yeah, it tells me I've got a good connection, so hopefully it's coming through okay. If it's looking like trash, I would hope that someone would say something in chat. Yeah. Oh, hang on. There's a stream health. 1618. Okay, which is about now. But on the whole, it's saying I've got a good connection. I'll tinker with that. Hopefully it will behave. Hopefully it will behave. Right, where was I? Do I want to do a wee bit more? Or is that enough? I'm actually just going to look at what the weather forecast is now. Oh, we have a Wes term instead of weather. Well done, Dave. Yeah. I'm going to get wet. There we go. I'm going to get wet on my run. There's this little window in about 10 minutes. I'm just going to have to suck it up and go out and get wet. I don't mind getting wet, going out running. Come back in, jump in the shower. That looks a bit grim though. It looks like it's going to be not great. Yeah. Oh, I'll just put my jacket on and put my hat on and hunker down and just get on and do the run. Right, okay, well I think I am going to leave it there. As I say, I just wanted a wee tinker with that code. This isn't finished yet, because what I want to do is now take this a little bit further. Two things I want to do really is I want to make sure that the OK button doesn't work unless all of these fields are valid. I don't remember that being quite tricky. I can't remember off the top of my head what the best way of doing that is, but that seems like a thing that I should do. Also, this is a lot of wasted space. These are only going to be 3 at worst, 4 characters wide in terms of the actual inputs. the main width on this is really going to be the actual labels, for example. So what I should probably do is make this a bit more of a grid, maybe have 2 or 3 input fields across kind of thing, which should allow me to make it less tall, and then it will solve this problem of, if you have a shorter terminal for some reason, I mean, it all still works, it's just not a great experience. And what I should probably do actually is, rather than having this be a vertical, I should make it a vertical scroll, that kind of thing. Just noticed something I missed as well. What I should do is order title equals there we go. Got a nice little title on the dialog now. Right, well, I'm going to leave it there. There's a bit of tinkering. I'll come back to this. I just wanted to get that basic layout up and going, so that's very much in place now. So I can just tidy that up at another point soon. What's happening on Hack and Use anyway? Anything interesting? Python, debug Python tests instantly with an LLM debugger. Oh, great. We need more LLM in our life, don't we? Ooh, free plain text bookmarking. I do like me some bookmarking. Oh, I might have to actually have a look at this. Plain text based bookmarking, no fancy images or graphics. Has tags, private bookmarks you can share, one-click bookmarking, import bookmarks, export bookmarks, works on any device with an internet connection and browser, free unlimited bookmarks, no storage, no limits on storage. Oh, you've got my interest. So I'm actually a pretty big fan and user of Pinboard.io, so that's why I wrote my application Tinboard, and I do find that really handy. I have a app on iOS as well, so like I can be reading stuff, when I'm traveling into work and all that kind of thing. And if something looks interesting, I'll hit the, like read this later button, and then I'll use Tinboard to actually go through and manage them and go back and revisit the stories I want to look at and all that kind of stuff. And it's not just stories; it's also useful resources as well and things like that. And I do use it. I do use it quite extensively. But it seems to have been ever so slightly, not abandoned, but it's not, I feel the dev's not paying it the attention it deserves these days. I don't know that it needs that much attention, quite frankly. It's a bit old school, it sort of straddles Web 1.0 and Web 2.0, I suppose, in terms of its design and everything, but it doesn't matter because it gives a reasonable API. And as I say, I got a nice iOS app for it, and I've written my own terminal app for it. I've written an app in Emacs for it as well, and things like that. So I've got all the tools I need, and I just use it as a cloud-based database, a way of just storing stuff. So that's actually really handy. But I'm all about knowing if there's a new service kicking about. But it depends on the longevity of them as well, though, doesn't it? Anyway, my iron brew is pretty much done. Sounds like the rain is calming down outside. as you saw on the weather. There's some more coming in, but it doesn't look as bad as it has been. So I should probably go and get my running gear out and go out, do a 5k. How many steps into the day am I? Nearly 3,000 steps. So yeah, if I go out and do a 5k, I should hit my 10,000 steps, and then I'm all good. Try and do that every day. I feel it's kind of important. Also, use the standing desk. This is me at my desk. I do like using a standing desk as well. Kind of got onto the idea. I've only been using one since like July last year. And I thought maybe I'd use it for an hour or two a day, and I've got so into using it. And the one I've got here is one where it's like got the fancy buttons and things like that, because I didn't want to be doing the wind. I wasn't interested in doing that, so I spent the extra money on the nice one from IKEA that's got the it's not just got the up and down buttons. I'm so lazy. It's actually the one that's got 4 buttons that you can program for different heights. So I got, press number 1 and it goes down to my seated position, and press number 4 and it goes up to my standing position. And I don't actually use 2 and 3 because it's not like I have a habit of crouching or anything like that while coding. Hunching over, maybe, but that's another story. Anyway, I'm not coding anymore, and this is supposed to be a stream of me coding, so I am going to leave it. So if there is anyone out there watching, I don't know, does it tell me? I'm sure it tells me in the dashboard somewhere. I'm not really paying attention. I've got chat open just in case anyone said hello or anything like that, or wanted to ask a question or whatever, because it's perfectly okay to ask a question, not even about what I'm coding on. I can't always guarantee I'll have an answer. But I'm happy to answer the odd question here or there if anyone's got anything. Lost my train of thought. Totally lost my train of thought while trying to wind this up. That's great, isn't it? But yeah, if there is anyone out there watching, thanks for looking over my shoulder while I am coding away and just waffling on and stuff like that. And if anyone happens to catch this recording at some point in the future and you've been watching it through, I hope it's been entertaining and things. And if you like watching some dude gaming as well, over on my sort of non-codey channel, if you look on the profile for this channel down at the bottom, you'll see a link to where I upload my gameplay and things like that. I'm having a big obsession with playing Death Stranding again at the moment. Just played the story through for the second time, having played it first in 2020. And I'm still playing it, still building and all that kind of stuff, having a blast with that. And I upload a VR video every day and things like that as well. So if for some reason you like hearing me waffle on, you can also hear me waffle on while I'm playing games as well on my kind of gaming channel. But anyway, I am going to go. So however you're watching this, be it live or be it a recording, thanks for watching, and I'll be back at some point. I'm going to do this again after I've tinkered with things. Catch you all later.